Rapid Launch System, an upgrade effect that says all emplacement stratagems launch immediately once called in, reducing overall deployment time. And as you can see, when you get this upgrade, your emplacement stratagems call-in time is reduced to 0 seconds. So then why are we getting 4 to 6 second timers whenever we call in these emplacement stratagems? Well, I'm going to break down the math for you guys, exactly what's going on, so you can better decide on whether or not to spend your hard-earned samples on this upgrade. The language here is key for understanding this. The call-in time is the time it takes for your ship's crew to respond to the stratagem you threw on the ground and to actually fire off that support or emplacement stratagem. Then it's in the air and it takes 4 seconds to get from the ship to the ground, and we can call that the drop time. And then there's time that isn't being measured on that timer, and that's the time it takes for it to go from hitting the ground to being fully deployed. So, for example, when I call in the ballistic shield, it has a 5-second call-in time. So after the 5 seconds it takes for your ship's crew to actually launch it, it's going to take another 4 seconds for it to reach the ground, which is why we're seeing a 9-second timer here. In comparison, the shield relay now only has a 0 call-in time, so it's just going to start from being immediately deployed out of the ship and give you a 4-second timer to hit the ground. That's simple enough, but things start getting a little weird with the math once we have these mission modifiers that increase the call-in time by 25 and 50%. Using the 50% increase modifier as an example, now when we call in a stratagem that has a 5-second call-in time, you would think, okay, well, it's 50% of 5 seconds, that's going to be 2.5, round that up. Well, let's just add 3 onto the timer, so that should be 8 seconds for a call-in plus the 4 to drop, which should give us a total of 12 seconds. But instead, we're seeing 14 seconds instead of 12, so what's going on? Well, that's because the 50% increase to call-in time is worded incorrectly, and hopefully they change it or at least make some kind of distinction between call-in time and drop time, because that's what's causing the confusion. Because what it's doing is it's taking 50% of both the call-in time and the 4-second drop time, which means it's giving us a 50% increase on the total of 9 seconds that we saw in the other map, which means that you're going to have, when you round that up, an extra 5 seconds of call-in time, giving you a total of 14 seconds. Understanding the math here, we can then see that when you have a stratagem with a 0-second call-in time, it still has that 4 seconds for it to drop, and so that 50% is going to be applied to that 4 seconds, which is then going to give you an additional 2 seconds for you to receive that stratagem, which is why you see a 6-second timer on the shield relay here. All in all, I personally feel like the rapid launch system is worth it. It does in fact reduce the time for you to receive these emplacement stratagems, which these emplacement stratagems are generally very time sensitive. That's all I have for this, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.